You feel like you are behind in life. You look around at your peers, you scroll through your digital feeds, and you instantly construct a heavy, suffocating narrative. You tell yourself that by this age, you should have achieved more. You should have more stability, more recognition, a larger market share, or a clearer direction. You look at your current reality, you compare it to an invisible social script, and your chest tightens with deep, exhausting anxiety. But if we strip away the noise of modern hustle culture and look through the clinical lens of ancient Roman Stoicism, we uncover a radical truth. You are not actually behind. You are simply suffering from the fiction of an invented timeline. Centuries ago, the Stoic philosopher Epictetus laid down the psychological foundation for total internal freedom. He famously wrote, "What upsets people is not things themselves, but their judgments about the things." Think deeply about that distinction in this exact moment. The factual state of your life right now is just raw data. It has no tone, no pace, and no inherent malice. It is completely neutral. The pain you feel does not come from your actual circumstances. It comes entirely from the aggressive, negative commentary your mind overlays on top of those circumstances. You are not wounded by where you stand. You are wounded by the toxic story you are telling yourself about where you stand. We are taught by modern self-help culture that when we feel unfulfilled, we must fight. We must push harder, manifest a new reality, or hustle our way out of the gap. But the Stoics recognize that this frantic, desperate striving is exactly what keeps us trapped. The great emperor and philosopher Marcus Aurelius sat in a lonely military tent during a devastating plague, fighting a brutal border war, and wrote these words directly to his own mind. He said, "Everything that happens is as standard and familiar as the rose in spring and the fruit in summer." When you tell yourself the story that you are behind, you are doing something incredibly arrogant. You are demanding that reality conform to your personal expectations. You are screaming at the winter because it is not summer. You are resisting the natural unfolding rhythm of your life. This internal resistance is an immense, tragic waste of your creative energy. Every hour you spend replaying your perceived failures or panicking about your future is an hour you spend warring against reality itself. The Stoics called this a state of psychological exile. You are physically present in the moment, but your mind is desperately haunting a phantom reality that does not exist. You don't burn out from the work you do. You burn out from the heavy, continuous weight of your unexamined assumptions. To truly understand why you cannot be behind in life, we must look at how the Stoics defined success itself. The philosopher Seneca, a man of immense wealth and political power, who eventually lost everything, warned deeply against the trap of external comparison. He wrote, "We are in the habit of celebrating the deceptive goods of fortune rather than the true goods of the mind." When your mind screams that you are falling behind, what metrics is it using? It is tracking external badges of honor, revenue milestones, job titles, social status, and material comfort. The Stoics classified all of these things as indifference. They are variables outside of your absolute control. If you tie your peace of mind to external variables, you are effectively handing the keys of your life over to a chaotic world. You become a helpless victim of circumstance, tossed around by market shifts, human betrayals, and random luck. The Stoics argued that true progression is entirely internal. It is the refinement of your character, the clarity of your judgment, and your ability to remain unshakable regardless of the weather outside. You cannot be behind in a race that only you are running. The milestones you see others hitting belong to their unique trajectory. To envy their timeline is to misunderstand the entire architecture of existence. The ultimate antidote to the narrative of feeling behind is a concept the Stoics called Amor Fati, the love of one's fate. This is not passive compliance. This is not giving up or practicing a lazy, detached acceptance where you pretend everything is perfect. It is something much more ruthless and powerful than that. It is high-performance, psychological clarity. It is the choice to look at your current parameters, no matter how difficult, cold, or slow they seem, and choose to actively embrace them as the exact raw material you need to grow. Marcus Aurelius gave us the definitive framework for this mindset. He wrote, "The mind adapts and converts to its own purposes the obstacle to our acting. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." When you drop the defensive story that you are behind, something miraculous happens to your consciousness. The mental fog clears. You stop weeping over the reflection in the mirror, and you start looking at the actual landscape with total sobriety. You realize that this quiet phase, this delay, this unexpected detour is not a punishment. It is your necessary training ground. It is the dark, heavy soil where your roots are deepening. You are being prepared to hold the weight of the expansion that is inevitably coming. The world you see is not the world as it is. It is the world as your stories paint it. If you look through the glass of modern comparison, every delay looks like a personal failure. If you look through the glass of pride, every quiet season looks like an embarrassment. But if you break that glass entirely, if you step out of the artificial race and return to pure awareness, the anxiety finally stops. You are not late. You are not failing. You are right on time. You are simply inside a necessary rhythm of your own unique existence. For the remainder of this night, drop your timelines. When your mind tries to tell you a frantic story about where you should be, leave the story behind. Look at the raw fact of where you are and honor it. Let the rain fall. This is neon silence. Join the silence.